Question 5. Rebecca is a farmer who's monitoring prices for products to use on her farm. She records the prices of 2 products made from different grains, wheat and oats, to investigate whether there's any correlation. Okay, so we've got the product moment correlation coefficient for the data is 0.244. There are 12 data points. The p-value is 0.4447. We can't really calculate the p-value in our questions. If they tell it to us, then that's fine. Okay, well, again, we can't really calculate the product moment correlation coefficient for the data, and we certainly won't be asked to. Your calculator can actually do that if you have the raw data, but we won't be calculating either of these 2 values. What we have to do here is not the hypothesis test yet. We have to comment on the correlation. Okay. They've given us 2 pieces of information and it's a 2-mark question. So I think they probably want us to use both of these. I mean, I could just look at the scatter diagram and say they don't appear particularly correlated. The points are scattered all over the place. Okay. And actually that ties in with this correlation coefficient data. 0.244 is closer to 0 than it is to either of the 2 extremes of 1 or -1. So the smaller that is nearer to 0, the more likely it is that there is no correlation. Okay, so first of all, I can say that the PMCC value is near 0. Okay, and the points are scattered, leading to a conclusion that there is no correlation between wheat and oats. Okay, I know I haven't referred to the p-value yet, so that's my second comment. Now, the p-value is not something we generally see in relation to this question, but we see it in hypothesis tests overall, generally. Basically means the smaller the p-value, the more likely you are to reject H0. And in this case, rejecting H0 would mean rejecting 0 correlation and concluding there is some correlation. But 0.4447 is not small, okay? It needs to be down below your typical significance level of 5%, 1%, etc. So for you to say that there is any correlation in a correlation hypothesis test, you would need your p-value to be, below 0.05 or below 0.01. Okay, that's nowhere near. Okay, so we can say that the p-value is large in comparison to significance levels of 0.05 or 0.01. So we would not reject H0, even though we haven't said what our conclusions are. We wouldn't reject H0 in this case, which means we are concluding there is no correlation. So it's the same answer. Both of these 2 numbers are sort of supporting each other. Having a small correlation coefficient near 0 leads us to the conclusion that there is no correlation. Okay, and the p-value being large means we wouldn't have rejected H0, which means we would have stuck with no correlation.